Welcome to another edition of Len's Burning Bush. I am Len Harvey. Now, before I bring my guest on for the week, I want to talk about what's really burning my bush. And this probably is burning your bush as well. So I know everyone chimes in about the gas prices these days, right? You go to the pump and it's about 90 cents a gallon more than it was a year ago. The current average is about $3.52 for the regular and $4.14 for premium. And a year ago it was $2.60 and $3.16. So yeah, you're feeling the effects of all of this. And with that being said, it could be something like the late President Ronald Reagan once said. It could be a new version of trickle-down economics. Could be, right? We're trickling down the prices of gas to everything else. So my question is, have you been to the grocery store lately? Because if you have, my goodness, you better bring your wallet and someone else's wallet, because it is getting to the point where things are out of control, okay? Because I shopped last week for my Super Bowl party. And chicken wings, I know if you've been to any restaurant recently, you know chicken wings has been a shortage of chicken wings. But because of the shortage, they decided to raise the prices also. So a 5-pound bag of wings used to cost anywhere between $12.99 and $14.99, okay? Which isn't bad. Do you know that the 5-pound bag was $29.99 for wings, okay? Just for 5 pounds. Now, if you got a bunch of people coming, you're going to need 3, 4, maybe 5 bags of these wings. So again, getting to a point where everything is costing more. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because I like to give you some updates, I look these things up and I try to help you in this way. Now, the Consumer Price Index says that grocery store prices went up by 7.4%. I'm going to say that's hooey because it's probably a heck of a lot more than that, than more than 7%. Like I said, I just proved it's 100% increase just on the wings itself. So I don't know. Now, the inflation rate is at a 40-year high. And in a report to clients, Economics with Goldman Sachs, of course, they predicted food prices will continue to rise another 5, maybe 6% more. And I don't know how much more we can take. Everyone is paying more than ever for the necessities. According to Bill Dendy, he told WCNC TV, he said, Dendy said the squeeze can be felt across all the aisle. Meat, poultry, fish, eggs, they're up about 12% since, November of 2021 from the year before. So who is actually to blame for this? Now, Goldman Sachs and Dendy agree that the rise is due to the pandemic-related supply issues, right? And Goldman Sachs also noted that high labor costs and then the skyrocketing prices for things that are necessities for farmers like fertilizer and other stuff. And don't even get me started on trying to get wood, or if you're building something, it's getting out of control. Now, it's really helped contribute to the highest overall rate of inflation in the U.S. in 39 years. Now, I even started getting my meat delivered by a company online. It's called Good Chop, and it is actually working out really well. You get like a month supply of meat. You can get steak, you can get pork chops, you can get chicken, and it's working out a lot better. Now, it's a little bit costly, but the quality is really good, and it is less than it would be if you went to the grocery store, so that's good. Now, there aren't many good options out there for you guys when you go to the grocery store. We could go back to when my mother was shopping, because she used to be excellent at this. There was a brand, I don't know if you remember the white brand, it was called No Frills. You'd walk into the store and there would be no frills. Does anyone remember that white label brand? And I'll ask Carol when she comes on, but I wanted to find out because that was the white box that was even less expensive than the store brand stuff. And it was so interesting. No one would ever admit on the box, like who made it, who did anything. It just would say macaroni and cheese on the box, cereal, or even just beer. And I'll post a picture of that and what it looked like, because it was just said beer. That was kind of funny. Now, this was a real thing. The company was called the Lobular Companies. It was a Canadian brand or Canadian grocery store chain that was an inexpensive chain, and they brought the No Frills brand. Now, that stopped. They sold it in 2011, so you can't really see the No Frills brand anymore. But speaking of the No Frills brand, prices of in-store brands, so if you buy in-store brands like Good and Gather from Target or Great Value from Walmart and 365 from Whole Foods, those seem to be not increasing as much. And the reason for it is they get locked in to a contract with the pricing. So that'll probably go up eventually. But right now might be, if you're going to the store and you were always that snob that I will never buy the store brand, you might be stuck buying the store brand because, first of all, you might be able to get it. And the other stuff is not even on the shelf. So, national brands often, oversee their own manufacturing, and companies have been absorbing those costs. And now they're, of course, on these earnings calls, they're bragging about it, and they're saying, hey, we're gonna pass these, costs on to who? But the consumer. In the end, the consumer always suffers through this. All we want to do is get our normal groceries, and can't we just do that without having to basically take out a loan or a second mortgage to pay these ridiculous things? It's just one of those things where maybe I need to take the grocery store up on that offer when they have the self-checkout and just basically order my smock and just scan the groceries and maybe get a discount because I'm working for them. Could be something we talk about. With that being said, it's time to bring on my guest for the week. She is a singer-songwriter from the great state of New Jersey. Let's welcome for the second time. She appeared on episode 29. The episode, Can't We All Just Get Along? Back episode 29. I can't believe it's been that long. I probably should have had her on sooner. But here's longtime friend, former coworker, Carol Crittenden. And Carol, I'm going to put you up on the screen, and hopefully we can get you here. But have you been to the grocery store, Carol? Because it's driving me nuts.
Oh, I go to the grocery store. Yeah, there is a lot going on there right now. I can't believe that the chicken was really that much more. That surprised me. Your chicken was that much. Wow.
And again, I bought them, but I'm like, what the heck? $29.99 for a. And what was interesting is in the past, so I go to this Gordon Food Services, which is they basically sell to the restaurants, and I like going there because they had the quality is fantastic. So you go there, and normally, they have really good prices. But, recently these are, and it's been everywhere. It's not just Gordon Food Services. But they used to have breaded wings, and they would have honey barbecue and all these things. These were naked wings that you had to cook yourself and put the sauce on. Didn't even have any sauce on. You had to do that yourself for $29.99.
It was no frills.
No frills.
Wow. Did it taste delicious? Were they really succulent and amazing, or were they just kind of the same as normal? Right?
It was the same, although we put it in a crock pot and actually put the barbecue sauce on it. It was actually we had another batch last night for dinner, and it was actually better because you soak it in the it was soaking in the sauce, and it was juicy, and it was nice. It was outstanding. But
you got to pick and choose now. You're not just buying wings every other day now. There are certain things that you have to give a little more thought to, and how can you make this last? And it's funny because I've always been that way where when I buy things at the store, I use every little bit of it. I'm all about not wasting things. I don't know where I got this from. It's I grew up in the Depression or something, because even if there's a little leftover scrimption of a ridiculous thing, I'll put it in a little container. I'll put it in my fridge. And even if I don't get to it, it feels good that I did that. But I almost always, I eat everything out of the fridge, and that's a side dish tomorrow. And that's this, and this,
we do the same. And half the time you wind up throwing it out, but it does. It is a sad state of affairs. But these prices have gotten ridiculous. And I don't know. I mean, everything has gone up. It's continually going up. It starts with the gas prices. It starts with that. But, people are saying, well, then you get an electric car. And I'm like, you're missing my point here. Even the electric, have you seen your electric bill and your gas bill from the power companies? The same use a year ago was up 16%. So it is just crazy. You can't
these
win.
Things always, they ebb and flow, and everybody gets in a big uproar, and then things shift and change. And it is difficult during that time, and especially when people who are really struggling. But it's just, there's not much you can do about it too. You feel like you have to buy food. These are, like you said, these are necessities. These are things you need in life. And, but you pick and choose, and you choose your no frills, no frillsy brand things. And you were mentioning how the store brands, they've really come up these days, though. I have to say, like the store brands, their packaging looks great. Like they have like names. It's like, it's different than it used to be. So they're really marketing that in a different way, which is cool. Like I like the store brands of those things.
I agree. And I was a snob when I was a kid because my mother would buy that No Frills and she'd buy the Pathmark brand or whatever it was.
Well, there are certain things, there are certain products that you need the name brand, I do find.
Yeah. Well, Coke is one of them because it's hard to find the actual same recipe, because used to be that the cola in the stores would be like RC, which is cola, okay.
Right,
it would just be cola. Now they're getting close to Coke. Like you can actually buy like Kroger brand or maybe ShopRite or whatever, and it actually tastes like Coke. It's pretty close. It might be like the after, they probably don't give them the best recipe, but it's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of the store brand stuff, even cereal, it tastes pretty close. Like if you buy the bag cereal, it tastes pretty close. But I like to get the actual brand now.
Certain things.
I said, when you grow up and you don't have the brand, you want the brand now.
You want Kraft macaroni and cheese.
I do.
I'm buying the Kraft.
Yeah.
Bounty, the quicker picker upper. I gotta say, they work better than others. Like certain things you do need. So I agree.
I would agree also. Yeah,
it's splurging moments.
The splurging moments. But yeah, you got to take out a loan. So make sure you bring your wallet, somebody else's wallet, and some else, because tell two friends and so on and so on. So,
but that's good that you found ways like buying the big meat in bulk, like buying big things, and you can find those things. It just takes a little work, or buying.
I don't think it's that much cheaper, right? I don't think it's that much cheaper, but the quality is really good, and you're guaranteed to get it. At least it comes every month. And, you're part of that kind of subscription, but it's...
Right, you can budget for it in your life.
Yeah. Well, because if you've gone to the store, I mean, I try to buy steaks. I mean, you're talking $30, $40 just in a package, right? For any kind of steak. So this, you get like 26 pounds of stuff and, in the big box. So it's kind of nice. And like I said, their chicken, their pork, and their steaks are really good, and they grill up really, really well. So that's kind of one option for people. I mean, there's so many companies like Butcher Block and all these other companies now that are doing it. And Omaha Steaks has been doing it for years that you could become. But I always thought they were a little expensive. But now that I look at it, they're really just along the same lines.
Right. If you're eating it regularly and you can plan it out. It's nice.
And now that the grocery stores are so expensive, these places are actually starting to look good. So that's kind of where we are. So speaking of looking good, the Olympics has been on, and the Winter Olympics, which is probably, if I had to choose, would be the favorite of the two, because I like hockey, I like all the stuff, but I have not watched 1 minute of any of the Olympics. Have you watched any?
Well, I've seen some highlights just based on the news cycle, and the ice skating, all the drama around that has been fascinating and sad and traumatic.
There's always drama. Involved. I mean, I think that, it's kind of interesting. I talked about this on the show a couple of weeks ago. We talked about the reason I guess I'm not as excited about the Olympics anymore. Maybe it was just spoiled from all the great Olympics from 1980 to 84 to 88. And you start looking at 1994 was kind of the downturn. And that's with the Tanya Harding and, that kind of situation. And then it became, so I don't know.
It becomes kind of sensationalized. We start to just get into like the background thing. It's not about the work and the talent we get a little like that.
Yeah. Apparently the big thing with the Russian figure skater, Kamila Valieva, I think is it Valieva or Valieva?
I have no idea. Good job for attempting.
Valieva. 10.3 million people watched it the other night. So there are people still interested in this. I am out. I really don't care.
Yeah, really. Even with all the drama, it didn't lure you in?
I could care less.
Good for you. I have to say, I was a little lured in by that. I'm like, well, wait, what happened? And then, just the drama, the gold medal, the silver medal, and the crying, and you can get caught up in it, but it's also like these are really young girls that are like going through this, and just the pressure that's been put on them, and seemingly abusive situations. It's heavy, it's heavy stuff. And we get caught up in the, ooh, this happened and that happened. Ooh, and it gets very sensationalized. But you got to step back and remember, like, they've been working their whole lives for this moment. And it is a lot of pressure. It really, Yeah. I mean, there's
Too much.
It's great too. Like the competition, and I see both sides of it. The competition definitely pushes you further to see what these people can physically do with their bodies is incredible. You know, it's beyond, it's like otherworldly. So there really is something to having that competition to push you further. But at the same time, it loses just the sharing of it, the beauty of it, and just like celebrating what each individual can accomplish. But you know, it's the Olympics. It is a competition. That's
absolutely.
What it is.
You know, I always wondered, the people, like, they give medals to the first three, right? They give the gold medal, the silver medal, and the bronze.
Yeah.
But you know, I hate to be like Ricky Bobby, but if you're not first, you're last. I mean, it just really doesn't matter that you get
That's
second.
what the silver medalist said.
That's pretty much it.
Which is so not true. That's a terrible attitude.
I feel like, you know, when you get second, it's like you worked this hard and you came in second. Now that's great.
You came in second in the world. That's amazing.
I get it, but nobody remembers the silver medalist. Heck,
they do if you create drama around yourself. Then suddenly you're usurping the gold medalist moment of glory.
Or you could be like Nancy Kerrigan and get upset when Oksana Bayou won and kind of say, "Why did she win?" You know, she was all nasty and whatever. You know,
you just wish people would at least handle these things with grace, you know, and dignity.
So.
But these are also young girls, and like they're young, and the pressure, and so someone needs to be teaching them how to be, you know, have good sportsmanlike behavior, and it's
Well,
it's hard.
You got to be careful now. You in the music business will appreciate this story. Okay, they're apparently brothers Robert and Aaron Martirosyan. They are known professionally as the Heavy Young Heathens. They filed a lawsuit on Thursday saying that NBC, U.S. Figure Skating, and figure skaters Alexa Knierim and Brandon Fraser violated their copyrights by using the version of House of the Rising Sun at the Olympics. So they're suing. They said they skated to the version of their traditional folk song used in the trailer for the 2016 film The Magnificent Seven, and also a Ford Motor Company without permission. And they also accused NBC of copyright infringement and all of this stuff. So you got to be careful with the music. You know, it's the music. You know, anyway, you know, you got to be careful. You got to watch out. So they're apparently, you know, the skaters, I mean, I would think they're probably not going to have to pay anything. I wouldn't think.
I don't know how that works, but somebody, I mean, the skaters wouldn't know how to, I mean, that's not their job to sort that out. You know, I don't know who kind of selects the song and everything, but even if they do, there's got to be somebody on their team that kind of does their research and sorts that out in advance, because you don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to be stealing people's music. So speaking of music, it's been a little bit since you've been on the show. You were on, God, it was October, I think, of 2020, I think. My goodness. It's been a long time. So your song Rise had come out then. What is happening now with your music? And of course, we're gonna get you to play something, because that's what we do here. But let's talk about the career and how it's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's been, you know, the whole pandemic has been an interesting time for musicians in general. I think some people have really had taken that time and have been writing and really went inward. I think other people just kind of shut down and didn't do much. We've discovered new ways of connecting with your audience. There's all kinds of, you know, Zoom, everything's Zoom now, or StreamYard or Facebook. And so I think it's been nice because you've been able to connect with people farther away who wouldn't normally be able to hear you and see you perform. So there's been a lot of like cool things in that regard. But it's exciting that, you know, the spring is around the corner, and hopefully, you know, there'll be more going on live. I think people are kind of itching for those live opportunities of connection. It's a different energy. It really is, to be in the room with people and to just kind of feed off of that. So I'm looking forward to getting out there again and get a bit more.
Now, how hard was it to release a song during the pandemic? You know, are people, you know, consuming it more during the pandemic or less? How is that working? You know,
it's interesting. I mean, as far as releases, I've only released one song during the pandemic. And I was actually going through a really hard personal time myself. So I was very distracted from that. It was last fall. It was my new song called I Won't Break. And so it was well received and got some radio airplay. And it's just part of it's just getting it out there and getting it to people and on playlists and Spotify and all that. But I think there's just there's a lot going on, and people now, I think it's hard to kind of cut through because there's like, everybody's got their own studio. Everybody's putting stuff out there all the time, which is great because like people have the power to just to create and just put it out there in a way that didn't used to happen in the past. If you didn't have a record deal or have this or that, there's so many independent artist opportunities. But it does make it challenging then to break through and to connect. But I think people are always hungry for that kind of stuff, like for music and art, and especially during the pandemic time. I mean, that's what we all turned to, right? We were staying home. We were, living in our sweatpants and watching, TV and movies and listening to music, hopefully. And, so I think there's definitely a need for that. And there's just so much going on. It just seems like, some people are having a really hard time throughout this. There's a lot to explore,
Yeah, I mean, hence why I started this show, because the same reason, it's nice to talk to friends that I haven't talked to in a long time, or I get to keep up on what you're doing. And doing this show is a healing process for me, because when there's nothing going on, nothing to do, when you've watched every episode of Ozark, I mean, what are you going to do? You gotta figure out what to do. I mean, although I will say that coming up now, I'm very excited that beginning, I believe it was yesterday, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is back.
Oh, I'm so excited. Is it out now?
I believe the 18th, I believe, was the date that the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel came on, and I'm looking forward to catching up on season 4. There's 4 seasons of it. It is, of course, it's not getting the reviews. I hate reading reviews. I always hear like, oh, it's overstated. It's, welcome and all this other stuff. I don't care. I love Susie, Alex Bornstein, Rachel Brosnahan, who plays, she's fantastic. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
It's a great show.
It does premiered February the 18th. So it is on Amazon Prime. And speaking of Amazon Prime and the pandemic and the prices, have you noticed that they've raised the price to Amazon Prime?
I just heard about that.
Yes, I just got the email. Another $2 a month, or it's another $20-$30 a year, so you can watch the Marvelous. Right before they put out the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, they make you pay more. So
that's what they do. They know just how to play it. Now we're all hooked, and we're like, how can we get off of it? It seems like a
legalized drug dealers. That's what it is. It's just
crazy.
Get you hooked on
they're good at what they do. But I gotta say, like, just with shows like that are so good, that come out the first couple of seasons, it's hard to kind of maintain that level. Like, it's hard for a show to last several seasons, I've found.
I don't like that they come back so long after, and you almost forget what you have to rewatch.
You got to watch the recap. You gotta like, what happened?
I loved it when it was out, but I've had to watch one show that I love, and I've talked about it many times, is, I don't know if you've seen Afterlife with Ricky Gervais.
I have not. I've been hearing about it.
It is fantastic. You need to watch it. It's easy watch. It's 6 episodes a season, so it's 3 seasons, 18 episodes. You will laugh, you will cry, you will be angered. It is all of that emotion. Every episode, Ricky Gervais Afterlife. It's on Netflix, and
cool.
I got to say, you will not be disappointed, because you will sit there and go, oh, and I'm sorry to bring this up, but I know you suffered a loss recently of your dad, and this will, all of this stuff where people lose their spouse or they lose this is a great way to get through it. Great way.
Oh, good. Yeah, I've been needing something to like that. I need to
and you will laugh too. It's one of those things where Ricky Gervais and the cast is tremendous. But one show that you won't see me watching is called Love is Blind. Apparently, it's coming out for a 2nd season. Have you seen what this is? They have contestants that apparently get together on the phone, or maybe they don't see each other until the end. Game? Yeah, it's kind of like a dating game, and then they fall in love, and then they're supposed to get married, I think, but then they meet the person, and I think there was one. I didn't watch it, but I heard this, that there was one person that she was taller, and she thought the guy was great, and then she meets him, and he's 5'4", and she's like, I'm out, Gosh,
that sounds really brutal.
It is brutal. There's apparently contestants Caitlin McKee, a 31-year-old medical software sales, and Joey Miller, a 31-year-old business strategy consultant. They met in the pods and even got engaged. Their story never played out for the viewers. So it's one of those things where two couples who got engaged in season 2 on the Netflix, they were featured, but it doesn't always work out that way. But Love is Blind is something I'm not going to watch.
Sounds a little cringy, like hard to watch. It sounds,
No, I get it. I'm not going to watch that. And one thing that, people always talk about is marriages end in divorce. There's always, 40 to 60% of all marriages end in divorce. But I will tell you this, that I read a study. I don't know if you've seen this, but recent study shows that around, I think it's 23%, divorcees, 23% are more likely to die younger than people that are in marriages. So isn't that interesting? That's kind of like everybody always says that marriage is exhausting or it's this, it's that. But, they say happily married people live longer and have lower rates of cancer, stroke, or heart attack.
Well, wait a minute. That's happily married people versus divorced people? What about unhappily married people?
Well, I guess people that stay married. I guess the people that get
they're assuming that
they're assuming they're happily married, I guess. No, you're not always happy. I get that.
Right. There's a degree to which
But no, there was an article.
That's a significant number, though.
Yeah, there was an article in the Post, a woman that got divorced and she wound up getting sick, and then they talk about that 23%, that divorcees, wind up getting sick. It's not easy dating either. So,
the divorcees should get a dog, right? Because doesn't that help with your health? Having a dog,
I would,
so maybe that would kind of counterbalance what they're missing.
I would think so. I don't know. I didn't get that deep into it, but I know that, they always talk about marriage like the diamond ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering, but apparently this suffering is better than the alternative, which is 6 feet under.
Could be, yeah.
See,
do that. So take heed, work a little harder at the marriages here, and just jump ship.
Absolutely. So your husband should be happy now that Carol's not going anywhere.
Informed me of this.
Yeah, she's
now
not.
That I know this.
Exactly. So what we want to do now is I would love to hear you sing again, because last time you were on, you sang, and it's fun to hear you, and now we obviously can see you. So. What I want to do is get your guitar. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I will. You're hopefully, the fact that you had it right next to the, means that you were going to play, right?
Perhaps. I should see if I'm in tune, though.
Well, that's okay. You want to, take a minute, and I'll get you.
Yeah, you can vamp for a minute.
I can ramp for a minute, because baseball is not around, and I'm, a little disappointed that they're still having issues with baseball. And starting Monday, the federal holiday, they're going to finally work together, or at least try to save the season. And I don't know, if they strike, it's going to be brutal if they don't ever play baseball. So
that was a perfect topic to do, because I have nothing to contribute to the baseball topic.
I figured we were gonna do whatever. It's all good. So whenever you're ready, Ms. Crittenden, right. I want to hear a little bit from you, and we'll give you the first of all. I want to welcome you again, Carol Crittenden, and I want you to hear this. They got fans. They're all excited. They can't wait.
All right. That's a great little feature. I got to get that for myself.
There you go. You need an applause button. Here is Carol.
You need an applause sign behind me, too.
So what are you going to play for us today? What are you going to play for us today?
I'm going to play. This is a song I wrote. I wrote it at a time when I was feeling very overwhelmed by all these images we're seeing in the media and all these, the stories. They're just kind of relentless, and it can feel a bit overwhelming at times. And you start to feel like, what can I do to make any difference? And you feel very kind of hopeless. So I wrote this at a time that I was feeling that way, and it helped me find a little bit of hope. I think we can all kind of find our way of contributing to the world and trying to do good. And one person's way may not look like another's. So this song is called One Small Step.
One Small Step on YouTube streaming. It'll be streaming on Facebook Live and Twitter, and, of course, on all the platforms on Spotify, Google Play, all of it. But here we go. Carol Crittenden.
A little boy's blank eye, skin blackened with dust. His country in tatters, his home now all lost. Of course we all care, but it's too much to bear. I wanna be moved into action. I wanna give some relief, but I find myself paralyzed. I'm heartbroken with grief. So I look up at the moon and I'll take a deep breath, and I'll put my one foot forward, and I'll take one small step, one small step. I move my boys' Legos and sit on the floor, try to make sense of such unholy war. Don't dare take for granted our blue skies or white clouds, but I don't ponder too deeply just what freedom allows. So I look up at the moon and I'll take a deep breath, and I'll put my one foot forward, and I'll take one small step, one small step. I'll try to be worthy of writing these words and find ways to give and see how I can serve and push disillusion down and take one small step now, one small step. You turn on the TV, switch from the news, or zone into some other screen where I lose myself and the meaning I held moments ago. But I realize that there are some things I cannot unknow. So I look up at the moon and I'll take a deep breath, and I'll put my one foot forward, and I'll take one small step. So I look up at the moon and I'll take a deep breath, and I'll put my one foot forward, and I'll take one small step, one small step. If we'd all take one small step.
Wow.
Crowd, yay!
I love the crowd. I'll tell you, that was
I love it.
That was fantastic. Once I'll I was swaying in the background. It was like, we needed the cigarette lighters.
That's right, the lighters.
Now everybody uses those telephones, but I'm
not the same.
I am old school.
A fire hazard, I suppose, but
so tell people before we go, how you can listen to that fantastic song, how you could download it, and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, that song actually is still in production, and I'm actually going into the studio next month, so I'm very excited to get that one out there and recorded. But yeah, I think there's a couple of YouTube recordings of it as well. But you can always find me, Carol Crittenden. My name's right there, CarolCrittenden. It's kind of an unusual name. It's not like Jones or something.
Hey,
so I have to go spell it out. But CarolCrittenden.com. You can find me on Facebook, friend me. I post, anything I'm up to, I'll post up there and on my website and stuff. And you can find me on Spotify. My newest song, I Won't Break, is on Spotify, and Rise, my original album, my debut from a few years ago, is all up there en route. So yeah, find me.
Oh, love it. Love it. And it's great, keeping in touch like this. And I'm so proud of you. You continue to just amaze. That the song is beautiful. And I think everybody will find it the same way. And you can watch it on my YouTube channel, and you could watch it on Facebook Live and watching it on Twitter as well. You can like Lens Burning Bush on Facebook at Lens Burning Bush. You can follow along at Lens Burning Bush on Twitter. As mentioned on the YouTube channel, you can listen on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, iHeartRadio. You can even ask Alexa, although the price went up for Amazon Prime, you could ask Alexa to play Lens Burning Bush, because that didn't go up. The price of Lens Burning Bush did not go up. So that's a good thing, right? Yeah, yet. Well, things cost money. You think these all these effects and everything don't cost a few bucks?
I know. That sign behind you.
I'll tell you.
I love it.
And all of these kind of things, and we've got new stuff now. We've got new sounds. I mean, come on. It's just,
fancy.
It's all fancy and fancy stuff. But I love it, Carol. You please will come back again. And
love it.
By
love
then you'll be
love hanging.
By then you'll be having 1 million downloads of all your songs, and it'll, maybe you won't even want to talk to me anymore. I don't know.
That's right. I mean, I'll just kind of dismiss you then. Yeah, Please, as if I've known you since what?
I know, something 1990s, something like that. But like I told you, you never get any older. I continue to rise. Just like your song, I continue to rise, but not in a good way. Not in a good way. Right this way. Anyway, thank you, Carol Crittenden. You are wonderful as always. It is a pleasure to have you on. I'm Len Harvey. Be back with another episode of Lens Burning Bush next week. So long.